can the U.S. Postal Service's revival plan work? The topic of my discussion today with John Haber. He is founder and CEO of Spend Management Experts. Hello, John.
Hello, Bob. How are you?
Good, and good to see you again. So, we're talking today about this big, ambitious 10-year plan, U.S. Postal Service, $40 billion over the next 10 years, while they're forecasting profitability of $1.7 billion by fiscal 24. What do you think? Is this too little, too late? Is this going to work?
The jury is still out on whether or not it's going to work, as well as whether it's too little, too late.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people that think it is too little, too late. Frankly, they've been, under a pile of debt for a very long time. Very ambitious plans. Whether or not they can execute and reach their profitability goals as quickly as they've outlined, I'm skeptical.
Do you think they've been in any degree crippled by their travails over the last couple of years, the problems the Postal Service has had with staff and technology and machines and the political blowback? Do you think all that combines to be a problem for them?
I think that they face a number of obstacles or challenges as they drive towards revamping the post office and becoming profitable. Certainly, it's a quasi-government agency. They're handcuffed in many ways. Their infrastructure has been challenged, and they've got obligations, pension obligations that have really hindered them in their goals sort of towards profitability. Obviously, they're in a good space with very rapid growth on the parcel side.
Mm-hmm.
But as they move away from first class mail as being very profitable, parcel delivery is different. They're different size packages. There's different competition there. And as the volume shifts away from first class mail more towards parcels, we'll see how well they're able to manage the profitability.
Do you think that they'll be judged on the same set of standards as Amazon? Because Amazon certainly is the bar to be jumped over when it comes to customer service. Would they have to meet it on those terms in order to succeed?
In many cases, yes. Everyone's competing with Amazon. So they're setting the standards. They're setting customer expectations on how fast goods should arrive once they're ordered.
Mm-hmm.
And it's difficult for other organizations to meet the same service levels that Amazon is establishing. And they're driving consumer behavior. It's very tough for the post office to financially compete with the with Amazon. It's very tough for a lot of retailers because they don't have a cloud business that can subsidize their logistics business, and so Amazon's setting the bar for everyone.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, though, the fact that they are the one delivery service that is required to reach all addresses in the country. That's been described as an asset to some degree, and it's also been described as a liability. I mean, on balance, how does that play out in terms of their ability to up their game on the package side?
Well, I mean, it's an asset because they're going to, for the most part, every location every day, and that's just the way it's been. A lot of those deliveries are not profitable deliveries that they have to make. They're very costly deliveries. And what you see is on other logistics companies that use the USPS to do the last mile delivery, such as Amazon, that outsource it, or UPS SurePost. FedEx is pulled back in SmartPost, so the post office is, for the most part, is not delivering that. The volume that they give the post office deliver is the volume that a lot of cases they don't want to deliver. It's the rural areas where they're handing them off, where their delivery area surcharges and the delivery densities and the package the package delivery characteristics are not attractive, and so that's a struggle.
Well, going forward, though, I wonder what lessons might be learned or what might be the fallout from COVID-19 with respect to the competitive nature of the post office. We hear about shippers needing, as a lesson learned from COVID-19, needing to diversify their last mile delivery options. Would that not play in USPS's favor to some degree?
It does absolutely play into the USPS's favor. There are lots of startup delivery companies where the lack of capacity plays into their favor. If you look at some of the regional carriers like a LaserShip, they're already out of capacity for 2021. There's a real lack of capacity in the small parcel U.S. domestic marketplace. It's favorable for the USPS. There's a lot of volume. It's just a matter of how they can manage it and make it profitable, and how they can have flexibility to price things so that they can gain market share.
Yeah, but shippers are not in a position to be particularly patient. If it takes 10 years to implement this plan, and there are the necessary blips along the way, it's hard to imagine that shippers would be forgiving of that in the meantime and be patient while they are trying to raise their game in that time.
They're certainly not 10 years
Yeah.
to get things right. Maybe there's 10 years to fully execute the entire plan. They've got to start getting things right now. There's the sense of urgency is now.
Yeah. I wonder, though, if the U.S. Postal Service might not benefit from battles that are going on outside of its purview, or problems that other carriers are having. I'm thinking specifically, number one, of FedEx cutting back on a lot of its delivery accounts, although recently, just today, we're hearing that they're reassessing that decision. And then meanwhile, you have this big battle going on between UPS and Amazon. I wonder where does the U.S. Postal Service stand with regard to these things? Can it stand outside the fray and then come in and take advantage of it? Or is it going to be sucked into that in some way too, and have that be a liability to its growth and success?
They're right in the middle of everything that's going on there. I mean, obviously, they're less dependent on FedEx because FedEx has pulled SmartPost and Network and rebranded it as FedEx Economy. But I mean, the Amazon is flying parcels for the USPS, and so it looks like there's a partnership that's aligned there. That's come out recently within the last couple of weeks, although it's been going on for a long time. UPS and Amazon, obviously, Amazon is UPS's largest customer. They're also potentially their largest competitor.
Yeah.
The post office is delivering SmartPost packages, SurePost packages for UPS. At the same time, UPS is trying to bring as many of those in-house. The Teamsters Union doesn't want the post office delivering, the USPS delivering UPS packages. And so there's all kinds of politics and regulations. It's a very interconnected, complicated weave of small parcel, noise that's going on here with Amazon, FedEx, UPS, and the post office. And then there's a lot of other players that are getting into the mix because there's those four. That's not enough capacity. It's a major problem that doesn't look like it's being solved very quickly. Certainly not in the short term with the capacity constraints.
If Amazon follows its usual way of doing things, might you not become more and more independent from the U.S. Postal Service by introducing more of its own assets into the marketplace?
They are
already, yeah.
I mean, they have planes. The post office doesn't have their own planes. That's why they're flying, packages for the post office now.
Well, so what's at stake for the U.S. Postal Service if this doesn't work? I mean, it's hard to imagine that it would go away as an entity, but if it fails to compete effectively in the world of parcel, which is the whole game these days, what might happen to it?
I can't really it's hard to imagine them, failing and not being around, because I mean
Yeah.
that would just make things even worse
Hmm.
from a diversification standpoint. I mean, our large enterprise customers, it's been very clear that some of the carriers are not playing nice with them. They're going after the SMB market. They don't want large enterprise accounts unless they're going to pay a premium. It's very costly to compete with an Amazon when your shipping costs escalate as much as they have been in parcel. And so the post office, we need them to make it. Uh, I'm counting on them from a competitive standpoint to make it.
Hmm.
Uh, whether or not they will, we'll see. But certainly the 10-year plan is a good start. It's a good first step. And it's not the first step, but there's all kinds of stuff going on with the post office, with DeJoy, and he's got distractions,
Yeah.
on the political front, and that's he doesn't need those distractions. He's got enough ahead of him without the noise that's being created that is distracting them from executing these plans.
John Haber, spend management experts. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for being with me today. I really appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure. Great talking with you.